Hello Yogi group. Here's the first of a few videos that I said I'd do for you to go with the 6-week course. I'm not sure how many there'll be at least one a week. This week I'm going to do 2 because there's 2 things that I would like to cover. The first one is going to be cat-cow, which I'll show you shortly, and then I'll do another one this week for downward facing dog. So what I would say first off is, if you want to practice this at home, cat-cow, then because there's quite a lot of pressure through the wrists, just warm them up a little bit before you do anything. So you can interlace the hands and just rotate them round so we're getting some movement in the wrists. You can give them a little shake out. You can take the hands down towards the floor and then bring them back towards you. Hands down, hands back. Doing this a few times, and then you can even make fists with the hands and then spread the fingers as wide as you can. So making fists, spreading them as wide as you can, wriggling them, just getting some movement really. You may wish to just take a little bit of shake into the arms, maybe even roll the shoulders a little bit, just so that the arms feel a little bit loose. And so cat-cow's mainly about spinal movement, about getting movement in that spine through all the different natural curves of the spine. And obviously some parts of the spine are a lot more movable than others. So the neck, for instance, is quite movable. And then the further down the spine that we go, the less movement there is in each little bit. So the lumbar spine down at the bottom, our spine down here, has very limited movement. And then the sacrum, the triangular bone at the bottom of the spine, has a slight bit of movement, but it's more of a structural thing really. And it's there to, like I said, I think last week, it's like a rudder. So imagine that the triangular bone at the bottom of the spine is a rudder, and the movement with cat-cow comes from there. So it comes from moving, and as we move that tailbone up and down, the spine moves with it. So first of all, get onto the ground on all fours, and we'll check our alignment. So the hands need to be nicely spread. So we want the fingers to be spread. We want the wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. I feel like I want to take mine a little bit further back. So it's all about creating space. So, you know, don't have everything a bit too close, because then we compress the lower back. So taking the knees back. You may even wish to take the knees a little bit wider. Whatever works for you in your body. Be curious and have a play. So we start with a neutral spine. So it's not up or down. It's nice and, I'm going to say straight, even though the spine isn't straight, but it's the only word that I can really think of. So we start here, we press gently through the hands, we keep a micro bend in the elbows, so we don't bend them, but we don't lock them out either. When we lock them out, you can try it, see how it feels, lock out those elbows. Suddenly I've got pressure through my shoulders, whereas if I soften through that joint, I feel the shoulders can open more. So we start with the tailbone, we drop the tailbone down, we scoop the belly. We're not sucking the belly towards the spine, just a scoop. Roll through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last thing to come down. Let it hang. Taking a breath. And on the exhale, lift that tailbone. There's real temptation to move the head straight away. See if we can leave the head where it is as we roll back through the spine. Shoulders start to open and head lifts. Tailbone drops, belly scoops, rolling through that spine. Imagine all of those vertebrae moving one by one. Head's last thing to come down. Tailbone lifts. Belly softens, rolling back through. Lifting the head. Now one thing to watch for is that we don't lift the head right up like this. Can you see how the neck is compressed? The neck is part of the spine. We want to keep that elongation through it. So lengthening through the neck. Finding stability on the ground, through the ground always, as we roll through one way and then the other. And try and do this pretty slowly and fluidly so you can feel what's going on. You could even do it with the eyes closed, taking that focus internally. When we close down the eyes and we've not got any stimulus around us, we can notice more and more about what's going on. And then if you want to include the breath, mainly we try and move on an exhale. So we inhale, on the exhale, movement. Breathing in as we come down and exhaling as we roll back. And then just sitting back on the heels. And then releasing those hands, because there is quite a lot of tension that can come through the wrists, especially when we first start to do this. So that's the first pose I wanted to show you, cat-cow. So have a play with that. Move however you feel in your body. If you feel an area of stickiness, you might want to just pause there. Take a little bit more of a deeper, more focused breath into that area. A few breaths just to see if any tension releases. It's also a really good pose to do when you first get up or when you've done a little bit of movement, maybe, been to the bathroom, maybe had a shower, but you feel a little bit of tension in the back and you'd like to do a little bit of movement. It's a really nice pose to do to get some spinal movement. So have fun with it. And I will see you very soon.